All right, everyone. I'd like to welcome you um, to my little presentation here. I have a couple different ways being a preschool teacher. As many of you know, that I do things, I have to alter kind of my thinking and the way that I use different things that we have learned throughout our master's program here. And so I'm just going to get started and try not to be too long-winded. All right, my first lesson is, it says here, it's not really a lesson as much as a plan to use technology innovatively with students and their families, and this will be accomplished through the use of Edmodo. It is going to be more of a year-long kind of thing, and so it's not necessarily a lesson plan per se. For one thing, it's just kind of a project and an attempt to do something new and innovative that I hope will be beneficial to me. The reasoning behind it is that I'm hoping to increase family involvement. Family involvement meaning with me personally, with their children, being more involved in their learning, and that I know it's something that everyone struggles with through all ages, and I'm really hoping that this will kind of create that sense of community between myself and the families that makes it more open and easy, and I hope I feel more approachable, and through using Edmodo that they'll be able to really kind of open up to me and not feel so intimidated and let me know things going on in their life, things that could help me about their children, and many, many, many other things. So, brief description here. Edmodo will be used throughout the year, like I said, for several things in order to increase family involvement. The main thing it will be used for is to give family activities to do, especially like over weekends and breaks, and to share them on Edmodo. I'll get into that a little more as we go on. It can also be used to find out things like children's interests, what family customs are. I'll be able to find out if they celebrate holidays, if they don't, how they celebrate them, what kind of holidays they celebrate, birthdays, etc. Just things that are really, important to them. So I'll be able to hopefully get to know these families even really in a more intimate level. Family member skills I have there, meaning that I'm hoping, I always seem to find out at the end of the year that maybe a parent plays the guitar, and I'm like, you could have been coming in to school and, once a month or a couple times a semester, and just sharing that with us, or someone that maybe has an expertise in carpentry, and we want to have a project where we're building something. We can really try to get them involved in things that they enjoy and what they like to do. Communication with families. I hope this will really open up that communication and make it really more casual, so that they are more at ease to really just talk to me with any concerns they have. And I'd be able to show children's work that they do at school. I could take video or picture or something they're doing, and I can share that with the families. And I say etc. because those are just some initial thoughts. I'm sure there's going to be many things that I think of throughout this process that I'll try, things that will work, things that won't work, and we'll see how it goes. The technology and resources involved, really, the technologies can include, a computer, smartphone, tablet, video camera, or digital camera, but they are not all required for this, but one of these things are really necessary. If you're just using a computer, you're going to need some kind of probably digital camera for some of the activities. So hopefully something that pretty much all my parents have for my small group parents. And yes, I've already went through. I found out who my small group kids are, and I don't know if you guys do it, but I like to see if I know anyone or just kind of get a feel. So I do look them up on Facebook, and almost all of them have Facebook pages. So that tells me that they have a smartphone or access to the internet. So that's awesome. Um, the skills, knowledge required. Obviously, for the teacher, you have to have knowledge of the technologies that you want to use. How you're going to use them. You really want to familiarize yourself with the app that you're going to use so that you can use that. This for me is a first time using this, so it's kind of a trial and error learning curve with me as well. And then, just communicating with families is a huge skill here if I really want them to be involved. The students, they're preschoolers, so they don't need any prior knowledge. It's all going to be introduced in my small group, and we'll kind of, we might be reviewing things that they have posted with their families and looking at them at a group and talking about them, finding some of their interests. They'll be able to maybe document some of their work and be able to share it on the learning management system themselves. So a lot of exciting stuff. Students, it's kind of talked a little bit about this, and I'll go to the site here in a second, kind of show you around what I have, like kind of a little mock site going. What the students are asked to do, they're asked, it is open ended. It's depending on their interests. I'm a constructivist teacher with Reggio Emilia influence, and constructivism. Really, we want to know what the children are interested in, and we kind of base our teachings of the things that we want them to gain through their interests. So I picture this going. Hopefully this is going to go good, and I'm going to use it year after year. But it's never going to be the same. It's all going to kind of depend on the group of kids and families that I have. So they're going to be asked to do things like activities with their families, share interests they might have. If I'm wondering, kind of feeling out if something's working, if something isn't working, I can take polls on there and get feedback, real easy feedback, nothing that they have to really think a lot of. And I think that's going to be key. I'm going to be able to share some of their work from school, and this gives families the opportunity to look at that. And like I said, I just have etc. because right now those are some kind of main things that I'm thinking of, but I'm sure there's going to be more. So let's go to the site here that I have created. All right, here is my class. Well, go into my class, and that's not my class. Here we go. There's my class. All right, just kind of a general thing. Just trying to not make this take real long. I know some of you have kind of seen this. I've been tweaking it and working on it a little bit. The whole idea is, welcome. I'm going to start out with an introduction, probably a video of me, and something so they get an idea. This is all also, I'm going to be talking to them with home visits about this that I'm starting next week. So they'll get an idea of what my goal is, and kind of like the way that I see things going. So here's my class, and I kind of I wouldn't have these all out, but I have them right now. So each month I would have a different folder where I could put different activities that I want them to do, be under assignment. It's preschool, so you're not using it like a quiz. I really had to think about how can I use this that is appropriate for me and to get what I want out of it. it's not your typical way of using this site. They're not going to be like assignments like they have to do it. They don't get homework. They don't. It's just I'm going to try to think of some fun things for them to do that they can take a picture and share what they did, and then they come in Monday and we look at all the different things to encourage them. I'm going to use some badges, but I'm with this you can make your own badges. So I see them, having my kids make their own badges for certain things that they come up with, ideas of what they want to do with their families over the weekend. So really, really, really student-led type stuff. Um, so I have, an introduction. There's folders I have in here right now. I kind of have, a link to our handbook, um, some of the standards, what I plan on, learning objectives, what they will get from this. I have a thing like a school tour. I won't really get too into it, but I'll just show you. It's kind of like a welcome thing, and this is not the best
Hello
video
everyone,
that I'm very
I just
proud
wanted
of,
to
so I'll
start
just
out
show
by
you.
showing you
Kind
around
of
the
go through and
So let's go into our
just
dining
showing
room.
around the school. So those kids that are new, my kids this year are all kids that are new, so they haven't been here, and so I thought it'd be fun to just give them a quick glance of what their school is going to look like. I threw some things down here, interests folder, where I'm leave this open where people that are can share their interests, what their children are interested in, what they're interested in as a family, things they like to do, so I can kind of get a feel of who they are and really what we can do with them. Parenting tips I have for, like, just as an example here, I don't necessarily know if this is something I'm going to keep, but just kind of giving me an idea working with this. So I just have like a potty training tip. My age, that's what you have. We have some kids that are still potty training. We have 3 and 4 year olds I'm going to start with. So, and it's frustrating for it. So letting the parents know that I'm there for them and that they can come to me, talk to me. They don't have to call. They don't have to, I know when sometimes people call, it's just it's harder than just writing a note or so. I'm hoping that some of these things I can put resources if I find out someone's having trouble in an area or something, I can put resources up here that maybe they can read and they can find out some help. I have one preschool games. I don't know how much I'm going to use this, but they can come get some kind of a developmentally appropriate websites that they might be able to do. Reading. I have a free library on here. It's called International Children's Library, where they can go on and find some free children's books from around the world to look at digitally. So mainly just kind of, I'm using this as a communication tool more to try to make us as a tight community. And like I said, it's not a lesson plan. This is not something that's going to happen. I'm hoping this is something that's going to go off great. I'm hopefully doing my final project on this, and I'm hoping that the thing that scares me is that choosing this as a final project, parents do not have to participate. It's just going to be encouraged. So if I don't get that participation, it's going to be kind of frustrating for me. Instead of choosing something like the next lesson I'm going to show you, where it would be something I would have more control with over the kids, and that, I can make sure that it's being done and I can see how it's implemented. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting parents involved with this. And I think just the fact that it's kind of like a Facebook feel too, it's more of like just a social networking type thing, that hopefully I will get them into it. All right. Oh, let's go back here. So the simple procedure, I'm going to explain the project to the families. Like I said, I'm at home visits. I'm going to, after we get a few weeks into the schools, I'm going to have an educational work night that hopefully at least one member of each family can attend, and I can kind of go through and answer their questions, and we can work through this together and figure out exactly how to do things, I find Edmodo has a pretty simple app, so being able to just put that on your smartphone or your tablet, and I really think that that's going to be really helpful if I can get them to come for that. Oops, going back again. Um, oh, little issue here. Where was it at? Oh, I skipped the prior skills. With prior skills for students, they're not going to need any prior knowledge because all this will be introduced to them through me, through our small group. Um, what skills and I feel like we're going backwards. All right, that's why I did it. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to explain it to the families, have an educational night, and then in small group, like I said, I'm going to introduce it to them, to the students. We're going to kind of talk about it and what my plan is with it. And you're thinking 3 to 4 year olds. Isn't this over their head? That's the trouble we have with a lot of adults, thinking that these kids aren't capable, but they're very capable to do something like this. And then we're going to implement it. And then at the year, um, I'm going to get feedback from families. I have a form made up, whether this worked, that worked, it didn't work, so I can really fine tune it and keep it changing until we really get it working the best way possible throughout the years. Advantages, advantages are countless. All depends on their interests, what we're going to do. Really, the main thing I want to see is family involvement. Learning how to use technology appropriately with children and their families, and increase communication with the families. Some disadvantages are, again, not having control whether families are participating or not. So that's the scary part. And then accessibility, of course. But I'm thinking about that. We have stuff. I'm starting a lending library at school. It's a digital lending library, so people would be able to check out maybe an iPad for the weekend, or we have stuff. They can go to the library. They can work on they can add stuff on our computers at school. There's many ways that if they don't have access, that I will make sure that they have access and they'll be able to be successful in this. And as far as transferring to other teachers, it's as long as they have the technology and they know how to use the technology, then of course it can. There's no reason that can't. I would suggest, of course, you personalize it the ways you want, your teaching style, etc. But I think the sky's the limit on doing this, and I'm really excited about it. All right, next lesson, I'll try to make this one a little quicker. There's an app called Seesaw that I used last year for the kids to document their work and to show their parents. It's different than a learning management system. There's some similarities, but it's simpler, and the kids really took to it and really knew how to use it. But I'm thinking, I've had this idea going of how I want to do this scavenger hunt with like tablets, because over my experience, these little kids, they love doing things like scavenger hunts. And so I planned on doing a scavenger hunt with the Seesaw app. It would be more of an individual activity, but they could be doing it as a group. And kind of the reason is to engage children that might not be as engaged, especially if different areas of our school. They can travel all areas of our school, so there's each room has different things going on. And just to enhance their learning, combining with Seesaw, will help them develop some critical thinking skills that are necessary. Again, it's varying depending on your intention. This is so open-ended as well. I mean, is it just a fun scavenger hunt? Do you want them to get something out of it? It really all depends on what you are using that scavenger hunt for. And so this is open-ended. We'll get into it a little bit here. Let me see here. I had a couple scenarios that we can talk about. So I have like an example one here. I have say a child usually plays in one area and you want them to expand and explore other areas in the classroom or in the school. the teacher can give them a tablet with the Seesaw app and have them go to the block area, say, and build something with the unit blocks. And after she's done building, she can take a picture, explain what she has made, and then, or she could take a video, explain what she has made. And that's getting her into an area that maybe she doesn't frequent, and then she can share that, and then we can share it with the group. What she can make, maybe get some of that excitement going, and seeing what, letting her know that there's things to do in different areas. Another example might be, I have, teacher's small group maybe is working on letter recognition. They can give tablets with the Seesaw app and a list of letters, and they could go around the room or the school finding the different letters, taking pictures of them, and then they can record and actually say what letter they found. So that's giving them that letter recognition. So like I said, this can go on and on and on. There's so many different possibilities that you could do with that. You just really need a mobile device such as a tablet or phone. And then if you're going through it with your group and reviewing it, though, you need something mobile to go out and do the scavenger hunt. But that's then put on the Seesaw site, so you can show it on a computer if you want a bigger screen so everyone can kind of see what people are doing. So a computer might be used as well. And of course, you're going to need Wi-Fi or a data plan or some sort like that. Again, the teacher just has to have some technological knowledge, and just learn how to use the Seesaw app. They really need to be willing to think outside of the box and come up with different ways they can do these different things to accomplish the tasks that they want. And problem solving skills are always kind of a must when we're using technology. As far as the children, well, they really, if they're doing this independently and we haven't started, they really need to know how to use the Seesaw app. After that, they're good to go. So the whole concept really is students are, asked to use a tablet for a scavenger hunt, or maybe it's in open center time and they just want to go do something with the tablet, a scavenger hunt that you have set up. Maybe you have some different ones, and then so they just follow the instructions and upload it to Seesaw. It's pretty simple, but we'll get into some issues for that here in a little bit. Okay, let me just show you Seesaw real quick. And maybe I'll just show you. This is some of my. So here's my class from last year. And as you can see, there's kind of a general board where I can go through and you can control who can see what and whatnot. But then each child also has their own folder. And parents can also, you can invite them so they can access this, and they might not be able to see everyone's, just their child's. And then, like I said, let me see here. Here's one. All right, so he took a picture, he made something, took a picture.
This is a mountain with a dinosaur looking at it.
So he explains what it is. So the idea of scavenger hunt, you'll be able to do the same thing. Say you're going, take the scenario of the black area. You go in the black area, you build something, you take a picture, and you describe what it is. Not only are you developing some of those technology skills, I mean, you're really thinking about it, you're planning what you're doing, there's critical thinking skills that are being developed, and then, you working with words, vocabulary. There's so many different things here being used. And then really, you might be bringing that kid into an area that they don't frequent, and they might find out that they really like that area and open them up into working maybe with other kids and just working in different areas of the room. That's kind of the goal of the whole scavenger hunt idea. And then again, advantages vary depending on the teacher's goal. If it's letter recognition, that could be an advantage. If it's opening up a child to another area of the room, that could be an advantage. if it's a social, if it's someone that's more introverted and they're not working with a lot of people, you can put them with one of your more outgoing students and have them work together on something. It's really, sky's the limit on those too. Disadvantages, really, I just have having to remember what they're looking for. That's the biggest disadvantage I see, because the problem is they're preschool, so they can't read. You can't just give them something with some directions wrote down. It's got to be kind of simplified if they're doing it individually. If we're doing it as a group, it's nice because you're there and you can kind of guide them. But if they're doing it individually and kind of a self-led thing, then really disadvantage is I don't have a way to, I would say, like, record my voice where they can just listen. If they forget what they're doing, listen to what they need to do. And that's really something that I'm trying to figure out how I can do that so that they would have that, and so they don't have to have written or remember. And of course, this can be transferred to other teachers. It's the same type of thing. I wrote, as long as the teacher has the tech know-how and the resources, they have, a mobile device, then they'd be able to implement this with no problem. And then again, also need to have some Wi-Fi or a data plan if it's a phone. Last, I kind of left this out, but instructional strategies included. This is really, this is for NAYC, National Association for the Education of Young Children. This is something that they have, if we can get it to open up here, it's 10 effective DAP, which is developmentally appropriate teaching strategies. So just quickly, you can browse this. We have acknowledge, what children do or say, encourage persistence and effort, give specific feedback rather than general comments, model attitudes, ways of approaching problems, behaviors and such, demonstrate the correct way to do something, create or add challenge, or even to reduce challenge, asking questions, giving assistance, such as like clues or hints to help them, which would kind of be a scaffolding type technique. Then just provide information with facts, about if they have questions, what is this? Maybe you're having a scavenger hunt about outside and they take a picture of, it's go find an animal, take a picture of it, and let them know what it is, and researching that with them, and then giving directions for an action or behavior, just letting them know that's those directions that they need to follow. And that's pretty much it. I have those all on there because really both of these are things that can be implemented. All 10 of these by far would be used in both of these situations in the learning management system throughout the year, as well as the scavenger hunt. So that's it. I hope it wasn't too boring or too long, but I really enjoyed this class and look forward to looking at what some of you guys are doing. Peace out.